Welcome to Athena Founders. So we'll get started. The agenda for this week, we're going to be talking about growth and sales. So probably only spend 5-10 minutes talking about that, and then followed by 50 minutes of like a workshop session where we'll be going through our biggest business challenges and we'll workshop together. Perhaps if whilst we're talking about growth and sales, if you guys just want to put your business challenges and questions in the chat, and we'll go through just whoever posts best. So if you can go to the next slide, Rishi. Yep. So yeah, just put your biggest challenge in the chat. Meanwhile, I will start talking about growth. So I'll just take over the screen share, Rishi. All right, cool. The stuff I'm going to be going over today is just from our startup curriculum, which is at athena.vc/blog/startup curriculum, or just on the resource tab of our navigation. So starting with growth marketing, you guys can check out this resource from Jared Codling, which is his YouTube channel that has a lot of growth hacks. So Jared is a friend of mine. One example growth hack that I'll mention is, so I think 2 years ago, Jared made something like $10 million in affiliate revenue from like Google business listings. And what he figured out was that you can list a business on Google Maps for like a plumber or for like any type of local service, let's say like a painter or a locksmith. What Jared did was he realized that you just need a local phone number to list. He went to Twilio and registered thousands of these phone numbers for every city in Australia where he's based. Then when he got a phone call for somebody that wanted a plumber, he set up a call center. He would take that phone call and then he would sell that lead to a local plumber for like $100. And he did that for a year. And then after a year, Google shut him down. The second growth hack that Jared shares on here is gaming Medium. Medium, as you guys know, is a place where you can post blog posts. And what you can do is after you posted your blog post, because Medium relies on engagements as a way to your blog, you can go to a site like Microworkers or Mechanical Turk, and you could pay people to go to your Medium article and like it or clap it. And you could pay them, let's say 50 cents for a clap. And that way you can game the engagement and get more traffic to your blog post. Another example is SEO, like Jared mentions. So a big part of what drives traffic to your website is the domain authority of your site, which is based on how many links you have and also the authority of these links. So one group of websites that have really high authority is universities. And if you get a link from a university, generally by association, your like website would be quite authoritative as well and will rank and you'll get more traffic. So what Jared did was he reached out to some university professors about research papers that they have uploaded on their university website. And he just emailed from a Gmail account and he pretended to be a student at that university. And he was like, "Hey, I read your research paper. I thought it was really helpful. And by the way, I translated it to my native language." Or perhaps he translated it to Spanish or to Chinese or to any other language. And then his pitch was, "Hey, if you think this will be helpful to other students, you can upload it onto the website if you want." And what he actually did was he included in that translation PDF a link back to his website. So now after that, not all people did it, but some of the professors uploaded it. He got a link back from a university website. So use these tactics with caution, as you see it's said here. It's in the sort of gray area of more of the growth hacks. But those are just some examples of how you can be creative about thinking up ways to grow. For some more traditional SEO strategies that are more like white hat, Backlinker is great. Website that tells you how to link build and how to do content and everything. It's a really good resource. Then moving on to personal branding, building a following on social media, like on LinkedIn, on Twitter, etc. This course from Lemlist is really good. It's personal branding school. It's free. To build a social media following, it's two things. One is just posting every day, like posting good content every day. And secondly is getting other influencers to comment on and to share your content. So getting other accounts with large followings to engage your content. And one hack for doing this efficiently is this tool called Taplio, where it will search for the most viral or highest quality content that has currently been posted on LinkedIn or Twitter or other sites. And then it just uses AI to rewrite these posts. Again, use of caution. It does help to actually write the post yourself to have a unique voice, but this is like a hack that you could use. Similarly, tools that allow you to automatically comment on other influencers to build a relationship. But again, use caution. Sometimes it can be better to be genuine about things and actually comment manually or set up a call and build a relationship. Then on the sales side of things, Founding Sales is a really good book. When we're getting started with sales, it's best to do this ourselves as founders before hiring a sales team, like figuring out the whole sales process ourselves and then hiring a sales team only after that. So this is a really good guidebook on how to do that. And then we have compiled some resources like our team at Athena and Contact Out. This is on the our website navigation as well, where we have recorded 50 sales calls from a lot of top software companies, for example, like whether it's like DocuSign or Okta or like PayPal, Shopify, etc. And you can actually just listen to these calls. For example, here's one of these calls. And there's the pitch deck as well that you could look at. And this will give you like lots of examples of how different companies sell to different industries that you can adapt and build your own pitch off of. Then the SaaStr University, which is a great resource by Jason Lemkin on sales. Oh, it's his book, Impossible to Inevitable. All right, that's it for a sort of quick talk on sales and growth. And we can go to the workshop. So yeah, let's get started with challenges. Okay, let's see who's first. Yep. So again, if you want to workshop your biggest challenge, biggest business challenge, just post in the chat, and we'll go through in order.
We have the one from Zainin Ali Nazir. No, I'm not sure. It's onboarding doctors on our platform. So
Okay, cool. I think like then I think you're first. Did you want to elaborate on that? So onboarding doctors onto the platforms, or yeah, tell us a bit more about that.
So actually, first of all, when we without reference in Pakistan, they don't talk to anyone else. So we decided to go or door by door with using our pamphlet, and if any lead we can get, then we will show our demo, and then it's actually a tentative plan. If we get any good plan, so we will obviously obey this.
Okay, so you're trying to talk to doctors.
Yes.
Okay, have you interviewed like a bunch of doctors before, like building your product?
No interview, but actually onboarding for so firstly we will go for the doctors who has any status and reputation in medical domain. Like I'm from Lahore, so who have already have named in. So we will try to looking for that type of doctors. So that's to build the reputation for our platform.
Okay. From the medical like founders that so we interviewed like maybe a dozen like biotech and like healthcare founders from YC last week. I think a lot of it is just pure hustle. Like these guys, they like showed up hospitals and they just stood around in corridors and walked the hallways to catch like doctors when they were free. And typically, like they would do it before they build the products so they can interview them and show them wireframes and stuff to make sure that they're building the right thing. But yeah, I think just pure hustle, like just show up at hospitals and just catch people when they're in between things, probably get rejected a lot, but you'd probably also get through to some people as well. Cool. So next up, we have Trip One, Trip One. Okay. Getting products an initial foothold, like initial 1K customers. Did you want to elaborate a bit? What's your products about and what have you done so far? No? Okay. All right. Well, Brian, how do you fixate your product solution if during user interview, user A has a problem and user B has a different problem? Do you draw that conclusion after 50 or 100 user interviews? At a high level, yes. You would like talk to a lot of people and then you would find the most painful problem and then narrow down on that. Typically from the founders that I talked to before they even built the product, they would do 100 user interviews at least, at like the very least, if not like a couple hundred. Did you want to elaborate on that, Brian?
Yeah. So I'm right now at five interviews. It's pretty early to draw that conclusion of data that, which problems which. I came in with assumptions that a lot of students have problem with education financing and a lot of people drop out of university. So that was the assumption. But then after I interviewed 4 or 5 people, most students have their parents taking care of their tuition. So they don't have it in their mind to think about that subject of financing. So what they really care is how to get a job, how to get an internship, how to pass their tests, how to get into their dream university. And one of the pain point that they didn't actually say that it's a pain point, but what I noticed in all of them was that they had the common pattern that they didn't get into their dream university. All five of them. They went to their the option C university basically. But I was wondering, like, when you draw like that conclusion that, okay, maybe this is the problem that I want to start selling and creating the MVP, when do I start tackling those subjects basically?
It's not just about the problem that you're solving. You'd also want to have a good sense for for the solution that you're going to provide and why that would be like 10 times better than at existing solutions. I guess just whatever like it clicks for you, but the process there would just be
That's
hundreds of users and then also just study hundreds of solutions because only then would you know, okay, like how do I make this better? So whether if it's like picking like universities and yeah, like study every other solution out there for picking universities and asking students what have they tried currently? And what's worked, what hasn't worked, what do they like, what's wrong with existing solutions. So I'd say, yeah, you start working on things when you have a clear idea of like, why is what you're going to do like significantly better.
okay. Okay. And from your experience or what you did with Contact Out when you did the MVP, what sort of tests did you do to actually test like the commitment of users? Because they could be saying like, okay, this is what our problem is. But at the same time, it's not, you have to test if they're actually going to pay or do something. So what was it
Yeah.
like in your case?
Yeah. So we started with just applying work emails and then we built up our personal email database later. But to apply work emails, like the initial prototype took us probably about 3 weeks to build. And after that, we just like emailed users and we're like, hey, we have this Chrome extension that finds email. It was basically just a pop up that showed an email. And work emails are fairly easy to guess. It's just combination of your first name, last name at company.com, and you try all of them. And then, yeah, we got people paying for that. And then we continued from there.
Okay. So you took a markup from the competitor or from that different provider? Got it. Okay. To test something. Okay. That's helpful.
Yep. I think depending on what price point you're going for, if you're going for, and also if it's like B2B, then yeah, you can generally get businesses to sign a letter of intent saying that they want to buy it at like this price. If it's consumer, it's hard because consumers don't really prepay or sign things. But if you can at least get them to sign up, put up a landing page that pitches your service and see how many people sign up and how excited people are, I think that could be like a good starting point.
Makes sense. Totally understood. Thanks, Rob.
Cool. Let's see who's next. Okay, Toby, we're providing QA services for startups in Nigeria. What's the best approach of attracting startups to subscribe to the service? Yeah, I think like depending on what price point are you selling, Toby?
Relatively to the Nigerian currency, it's not really out of much. I think it's
Sorry, Toby, you dropped off a bit. So if you're at like a price point, if you're at like a good enough price point, let's say like $1,000 a year or $100 a month, that's like enough to support a sales team. So you probably grow with a sales led approach where you like cold email people with your services or you reach out to them on LinkedIn. And then from there, you set up a meeting and you sell them your services. So this approach is detailed pretty extensively in the founding sales book that I mentioned earlier. And you could also look at, just some of the sales call libraries that we put together that I showed earlier, as well as we have like cold outreach templates from like examples from other like software companies of how they like reach out. So you can take a look there. I think with most like products, as like Paul Graham mentions in his essays, it's about doing things that don't scale. Like getting the first 100 or so customers is going to be the hardest, and you're going to have to do a lot of like manual work to get those customers. But if your product is 10 times better than anything else that's out there, naturally after you get those initial users, it'll spread by word of mouth. But that's why we emphasize so much about, hey, you need to make sure your product is like a lot better. I did see a QA company that Peter Thiel invested in recently. I think it's called QA Wolf, where, for example, they're like, why they are 10 times better is because they have managed to automate a lot of the QA process using AI. There'll be like an AI, like running the test cases and determining whether it's a pass or fail. And it will take out it's like human plus AI. So yeah, that's something to look at as well, like QA will. Cool. Next up, we have David. How should I
Oh, thanks. Thanks for that, Piers.
Yeah, you're welcome. How should I best organize the data for my startup? We have over 500 clients connected to our rural broadband network and have researched over 100 companies that offer rural broadband services. Okay. So I'm trying to understand, is the question like, how do you organize this data? Like, why would you want to, what are you trying to achieve by organizing the data?
Yeah. So the big thing is for the investors to look at it, because I have the data everywhere. Like I've gone through, and even I'm actually updating it using your contact platform, getting the new companies that are evolving into the, offer rural broadband. But it's like, I need to understand how to organize the data to make it appealing to an investor to look at it and go, oh, wow. Okay. So you've done this, you've got this many connected to it. You've got this many testimonies. Okay. And this is what is at the market right now. And this is how you're better. I'm not the best graphic designer. I'm a marketer. I wonder how the best format to organize all the data to make it appealing to a person, to make it understandable.
Yeah, I don't know if I would approach it that way
Okay.
from my experience, and take this with a grain of salt because I haven't raised any like large rounds, but I guess so this is secondhand experience from what I've seen of like just friends and let's say my favorite startups back when they raise money, or from an investor perspective, like funds typically get raised over like coffee, over a conversation. The pitch deck is just like the overview, but really it's like the conversation that sells it. So I think to get funded, the core is that like you like yourself are convinced that it is your service is significantly better, and
Okay.
you've justified that to yourself. And then when you have a conversation with someone, you simply just tell the truth. Because if you're convinced and all the strengths and all the weaknesses of your approach, you simply tell the truth. And it's not about presenting data such that you hide all your weaknesses or only show the strengths, because that investors can easily see through that because they talk to hundreds of like founders every year. There's something about if a person genuinely believes that what they're doing, both like the strengths and weaknesses is very strong, that shows. And it's not something that you present, it's more something that you know. So I think it's like, perhaps if you think of it more as, instead of trying to present it, like asking yourself, what are the strengths and weaknesses of what I'm doing? And if there are weaknesses, then what could you do differently to address those weaknesses? And think about it more from, how do I like just make this the best possible so I can succeed as a business, and worry less about framing it in a way that would be good for investors. Because it's not so much about the framing, it's more about like just building a great business, and then investors will see that. At least like the great ones will know.
Nice. Okay. Thank you so much.
But like to get a better sense of this, it's helpful to just watch like hundreds of startup pitches. Like if you go to YouTube, you like search 500 startups demo day or Techstars demo day, what you may notice, and there's like hundreds of pitches in a row, it's only a couple minutes each. What you'll notice is that the pitches are they're like 10 slides, and on each slide, it's like maybe 3 words. So really there's not much. It's very simple and clear. Yeah. So
Okay.
less is more.
Thank you.
Cool. We're providing a platform where you can train chatbots, building a chat but with your own API key, choose OpenAI's crawl website and use our, sorry, I don't think that's the challenge.
Hello. Yeah,
Yep. What's the challenge, Shashank?
yeah. The challenge is currently right now there are solutions in market, so they have integrated OpenAI on their own, so they don't let other like platform user to bring their OpenAI key, and if they are allowing, they have $100 price point, and I am like allowing from the basic plan as well. You can bring your OpenAI key and create a bot and copy the script or just integrate it. I'm just not able to decide what should be the price point for this B2B platform that I'm building. Like most of the platform are like you get 3K messages for $30 or 2.5K message for $50, something like that. And but since GPT 4, sorry, so 4O mini people in $10 you can get up to 5K messages. I am not decide what should be my price point, and my product is not in better in UX and in some features like it can generate image and you can like up to 20 file 30 file support file support, and it can generate also image graphs and everything if you chat, and you can combine multiple type of files together, and
Yep.
internally it's
Yeah. So
using.
there's a great book by this guy. I think his name is Patrick Collison. Patrick. Anyway, the book, his name's Patrick. The book is called Price Intelligently. I would just check out that book. You should be able to download it for free. He has a YouTube series as well. So Price Intelligently. His company is called Profit, but they got acquired. I'm not sure if that's like still up. But yeah, like pretty much the price, look at what all your competitors are priced at and then just price 20% lower because you're a new entrant to the market.
Like they don't allow like users to bring their own open API key. Chatbase allows, but for $300 at $300 price point. Like if you cross 10K message per month, then they allow it.
Yep. I would probably take the average price of like your competitors and price something within that range.
Okay. Thanks.
Cool. Ayan asked, I'm a designer who can't code, but has built something using no code tools. What's the challenge?
I don't know how to code. I want to build something very extensive, like no code tool. I have built MVP, but I can't build like even a prototype. So I need someone who like work with me on the development side and at this. So first of all, I'm a designer by profession. So I also work with the sales on my past. So two things I could manage. Second things I'm looking for is the technical co-founder and the problem statement. So because there are say problem statements that we have pivoted since of now.
Yeah.
And we like nobody's getting confident on which is going to work or which is not going to work. We have talked to people, but sometimes it seems like everything is working. Sometimes it seems like nothing is going to work. So what's the exact metrics we are going to follow? And then after we are trying to copy some of the ideas like which already existed in other country. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm.
So what's your challenge, Ian? You want to find a technical co-founder, or you're having trouble like validating your idea, or?
So it's first of all, it's finding the problem statement. Second is the technical co-founder.
Okay. Why not learn to code?
Sorry,
Why not learn to code?
I can't listen.
I mentioned why didn't you want to learn to code yourself?
I have learned no code tool to build some MVP or some kind of trust, so that I'm able to build something not fully fledged, but
Yeah. So I would learn to code because like none of this stuff is going to be easy.
Hmm.
Like to be successful at this, like you're looking at a 5 to 10 year timeline. Learning to code is going to take you like 2 months. So I think learn to code. Whether you find a technical co-founder or you don't, I think even to assess how good a technical co-founder is, you would need to have some technical jobs. So probably starting there. And then in terms of the process of validating your idea, yeah, just the process outlined in the Athena goals, which is studying investments by the world's best startup investors like Sam Altman, looking at 100 of his investments, then looking at 100 other companies in your industry that you choose, and then talking to users and talking to 100 industry experts. And after you've done all that, which might take you a year to really do it to the level where you are like an expert in an industry, then yeah, you would have like tons of ideas of what you could potentially.
When I used to work in front of laptop, there's tons of idea coming in front of mind, but which is going to work? That's the whole goal. I'm working since 8 to 10 years as a designer only, and in a leading bank in India, that's Kotak Mahindra Bank, as a product designer. So the challenge is, the challenge I am facing is finding the correct problem statement. Second is the technical profound who my work with. So that first you have answered first my question. So the thing is here, I just wanted to validate, is it worth to copy some of the business concepts which work on the other countries into my country?
Yeah, it could be. You could also, if you look at 10 of them and you think about how can you do it better and what things would be unique to your country that other countries don't have. Also, something worth considering is if you take a look at the most successful startups in your country, you may notice that certain kinds of startups are successful. And certain other kinds of startups, maybe there isn't a mature enough market for it. For example, in Southeast Asia, you'll find that software as a service startups or B2B startups nowhere near as successful as B2B like software as a service startups in the US because businesses or enterprises don't have as large of a software budget. They don't really have much of a software budget. Whereas we tend to find in this region, Southeast Asia, like consumer startups, especially like fintech or marketplaces, tend to be more.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on to Adi, figuring out how to do marketing and which platform I need to use it for. Okay. What's your product about Adi?
First of all, Rob, you are doing great. I'm currently doing a startup, thinking about the startup in transportation. It's similar to Uber, but only for students. It's a typically pick and drop service for students.
Okay. So why would I use this as opposed to using Uber if I was a student?
So, like in my home country, major of female students are going on vans and buses on monthly basis, like a subscription model. But all of these things are traditional basis. There are no tech including in this. I want to start a pick and drop service on a monthly basis subscription. There, the parents of the child can register themselves or register their children and book a slot in minivan or bus on a monthly based subscription.
Yep. Yeah, I really don't think there's a shortcut to this. As program mentions, like when you start, it's just doing things that don't scale. So literally talking to parents, enrolling, getting them to enroll like the kids into like your transportation service. And if you could fill like one bus just selling yourself, and then really iterating and refining the service based on those initial users to make sure that they have an amazing experience. And it's a lot better than alternatives. And when you have like good experience and users retain, then like scaling from there. And in terms of scaling, like the channels would just be just the same common channels, like whether it's like Facebook ads or like Google ads, other like channels there. But I think what makes like the user acquisition easier is when your product is significantly better, because then users will tell their friends, users will refer you, and for every successful company, their biggest driver of growth is word of mouth from having a really good product. But yeah, I would start with manually recruiting users, making sure the product's great. And from there, I would go to Facebook ads, targeting parents.
Suggesting me for doing a social media marketing. That will be great for me.
I think start with one bus, one route, one bus, and recruiting parents yourself, like doing the sales calls yourself, however you need to, whether it's like just showing up at school or parents that you know, like friends, people that you just recruiting people manually is a start. Early after you've done that and provided the service and the initial users are like extremely happy with the service, because you say you have a great product, but if you don't have users yet, like how do you know? Are users saying that you have a great product, or are you saying you have a great product? If you don't have any users, then you don't have a great product because you don't have any users, right? So who is saying this is a great product? I would start there. And then after that, then yes, like common channels like Facebook ads, Google ads, etc., could be viable.
So for initial start, I'm thinking
to start this product from my university in my city.
Yep.
Currently, I'm studying in my university, in a university that is currently in my city. So I'm thinking about to start this product to launch my idea from next month, because from the next month is starting a new session. New semester is starting, and new students are enrolled to student in university.
Yeah, start one route, recruit people, and then get feedback and ask them, like, is this service like 10 times better than alternatives? And then iterate from there, because likely like people would raise like things, be like, oh yeah, I like this, but then I don't like this other thing, or et cetera. So yeah, I would just start manually. Awesome. Next up, we have John. How do you maintain company culture as your team grows? How big is your team, John? John's glad here. Okay. Next up, we have Fahad. So over the years, I've collected a few ideas in a list, and I'm stuck between choosing 3 ideas. E-commerce industry to facilitate the life of sellers, healthcare to perform predictive analysis and help people stay healthy, a 10x version of YouTube. The issue is I'm not sure which one to pursue. I think, Fahad, really, I can't answer this question for you. Really, like you already know the answer, because the answer is like deeply personal to you. If you think about, if you're going to be spending the next 5-10 years on this, most likely, I would say with any idea that sounds good, it's going to sound good. And then you're going to try it. You're going to build things. You're going to test it with users, and you're going to run into a million roadblocks. And then you're going to have to try changing like tons of things. And you'll probably go through this process, like just continually failing for like the first 2 to 5 years. And you need to, I guess, just be really passionate about something, or just be really, it's fine if you're not passionate about it too. If you're just like really persistent, like persistence is the main thing. So I think the question might be to ask, yes, okay, which one has the most potential, but also which one would you persist the longest on? And like one thing to ask, which idea, if you worked on this and you're like, if you worked on this, which you would work on for the rest of your life, and if you did work on it for the rest of your life and it didn't work out, at the end of your life, you'd be like, hey, at least I tried. It's worthwhile that I tried, even if it didn't work out. That's how I thought about it when I started a business. I was just like, okay, even if this fails and I tried for the next, I don't know, 60 years of my life, I'd still prefer this to like working in corporate. But yeah, did you want to elaborate on that, Fahad?
Yeah, the thing is, what I'm really trying to ask is the real problem with the third idea is that as YouTube, Google, they're a giant, and it's not easy to take down the giants. So what I really want to know is, if I have an idea that could compete against such a company, would it be feasible to pursue it? Because this is gonna take a lot of advertisement, a lot of marketing, a lot of development to take it to a stage where it can compete against platforms like YouTube and Coursera and such platforms.
YouTube didn't do any marketing when it started. Like YouTube started because it was so much better than the alternative, because people didn't have a good way to host video. So I think if you truly have a version of YouTube where it's going to make it 10 times easier for me to either like host my video or consume video, then you don't need any marketing at all, because everybody will switch from YouTube. But then the question is like, how do you intend to have
It's about how you interact with YouTube, how you interact with the videos that you watch, how you consume them, and how your experience is on the YouTube. For example, right now, if I search something about calisthenics, I'm gonna get maybe 10 videos about my on my homepage about calisthenics. They're gonna persist for like next like maybe 2 to 3 months. Sorry, 2 to 3 days. And after that, my preferences, like they're gonna switch back to like they were before. So let's say that you have a goal, right? You wanna get fit and you wanna do it in the next 3 months. You'd be able to set a goal for the next 3 months. And for the next 3 months, we're gonna show you just on your homepage in steps how you can achieve that goal. Now, that's just one aspect. And then with another aspect would be, let's say you're watching a video, right? And there's a topic being discussed in that, and you want to explore more on that topic. But right now, you'll have to go to ChatGPT, you're going to have to go to Google or Perplexity. You're going to have to type in all of your context, what your idea that you want to know more about, like you want to do research. We want to provide a platform where you can do everything right there.
Yeah, I think if you are
So
if you're genuinely able to
yeah,
make a content, a video content consumption experience that is 10 times better than YouTube, it will grow by itself. And the clearest example of that is TikTok. Actually, the TikTok head office is like right next to my house in the building next door. But they have a clear example of that. They're like, okay, short form video suggestion algorithm based on what you like and what other people like. And it took over. It's like the fastest growing like platform ever, I think. But yeah. And is TikTok like doing any advertising? No. Since the content is so good,
yeah.
that is the advertising.
Basically, another problem with the platforms like YouTube and TikTok is the doom scrolling, right? So you just start getting suggestion and you keep scrolling and scrolling, and somewhere in there you lose your goal for which you opened it up. Like whenever you open YouTube, you have a goal, right? And then you start watching another video comes up and you switch to that. That's something that we wanna fix. So based on the information that I gave you, what do you think about the idea?
I think you'd want to say, okay, what's something I can build in like a week that tests like my core hypothesis that this is a 10x better like way of like viewing content. Whether it's, and you can build something like this in a week. You could just like a simple thing would just be to, I don't know, if I could build, I could just do a chat GTP prompt that's just, okay, give me a goal and suggest like 10 videos that could form like a course on how to achieve my goal. So it would just be like a prompt and then it will pass it to OpenAI and OpenAI will make me a course based on YouTube videos and it'll feed it to me like once every week, like once at whatever frequency. You can build that in a day. So just build that and then show it to some friends and see if they like it and get their feedback and keep iterating. I think the key is just what is something you can build in under a week that provides 80% of the value that forms your hypothesis of this will be 10x better than YouTube. Build that as soon as possible, even ideally under a week. Ideally, build it in a day if you can. Like, what is something that is possible? What's a form of this that you can build in a day? And then just iterate and then keep testing and do that 50 times. So if you can truly do that, like every day you build something, then the next day you go, awesome. In 100 days, you would have tried 50 things and you'd probably find something that will work.
Right. So once I make
is like how painful are these problems? Because frankly speaking, like video platforms right now are pretty good. Like TikTok had to be really good to displace YouTube, which it is really good. So it's a question of like, how good is the competition right now? If you look at other mediums, let's take news, for example. Like news is a terrible experience right now. If I go to Google News, I can't view like half the sites on there because it's paywalled. I would say that the bar there is much lower than video to beat because all you need to do is just build a bypass for the paywalls, or maybe you just build like a crawler that can crawl this content and rewrite it with ChatGPT or summarize it or something. And then you would have built a better product than Google News. So it's also about the problem that you select. But yeah, build something every day, show it to users and back and iterate on that and make it better.
So the thing is, the
So
main
I just have one question. What's the exact metrics that used to define like the
Sorry. We don't want to interrupt people. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
me. So the thing is, the main market is YouTube, and then I have a pivot point, which would be to convert it into an educational platform like Coursera. Because I think this problem, it's more related to platforms like Coursera that are educational platform, because they basically provide you like a classroom experience. But the one thing that they're missing is the instructor. The main point of going to a university isn't so just that you can attend a lecture. You can do that on YouTube as well. The main point is to ask questions and get answers. That's the main thing about the university, right? And that's something that Coursera is missing at the moment. The main market at the start, I'm thinking about video sharing community like YouTube, because it has a much larger customer base. But the pivot would be a platform like Coursera. And for the exit strategy, I don't have an exit strategy at the moment. And once I build an MVP, would you mind if I share it with you, the features and the MVP?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think here's how I learn in the, if I want to, the kind of process I described to you guys in the Athena goals. But yeah, I'll start with looking at companies first to be like, okay, like what technologies have been venture funded. But then if I'm like, okay, I want to learn about this technology and like longevity, then I'm like, okay, I need a whole like undergraduate degree in biology or whatever to understand this. ChatGPT is like really good at stringing together curriculums because I can ask it like, hey, what are all the topics in like an undergraduate biology syllabus? And then I could be like, hey, can you suggest online courses that would cover each of these topics? And it would be like, okay, first year do this, second year do this, and it'll link to all the courses. Then I'd be like, hey, can you suggest like textbooks for what are the popular textbooks for all of this? And you could download any of these textbooks like online, just torrent it or get it off like LibGen or anywhere else. But yeah, I kind of use it in this way already. I think ChatGPT itself is really good at answering questions. Generally, if I don't know something, I'll ask ChatGPT. It'll give me a pretty good explanation. But yeah, no, definitely happy to try it. I think just really passionate about like the education space. And yeah, same with what we're trying at Athena, right? This is a ed tech experiment in a lot of ways. We did like AMA sessions and group discussions, etc. Awesome. We'll do one more and then we might go to the focus group discussions after. Okay. Any advice for someone coming from advertising? What advice are you looking for?
This is for Jimmy.
Okay. We'll go to Josiah.
No, sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just to give a quick overview of what my platform is. Basically, in advertising tech, we are custom made solutions for the African market, right? So one of our key flagship solutions is for programmatic advertising.
What's your challenge?
Yeah, so
What's your challenge?
So the challenge is having to get liaison with parents agencies, right? So bigger agencies that will be able to adopt our technology and will enable us to add wider outreach. Because if we have adoption, but it's rather slow, and without quick adoption, it's not very difficult for any of the bigger players nationalize this hospital.
Sorry, Saint Germain. I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing you. I think the sound is a little bit muffled. We might be up for time now. I think we'll probably jump over to focus groups. So it's gonna be the same thing. We'll be talking about what's your biggest challenge, and we can discuss in like groups of about 8 people. Hand back over to Rishi, who would set up the focus groups. Are we good to go, Rishi, or should I take a couple more questions before we shift over?
You can take a couple more questions.
Okay. I'll do a couple more as Rishi sets up the. Okay. Okay, I'll just select a bunch of random ones. Okay, Destiny. You built an app. It's an MVP. It'll foretell your future. Okay. Challenge you're facing is product market fit. Cool. So what's the user feedback on your product?
Hey, Rob, thank you for identifying my question. So what we are doing something, it's very new in the India, and we have a lot of market over here for the astrology services. The challenge what we are facing right now is people are the product which we are built is giving the predictions right next way, the right next day. But the people are so interested only for the longer term and particular to their very customized problems over there. So what we have built over here is to identify the people's real problem over here. And it's like in a whimsical circle where we have got confused and just stuck in this circle. So how do we understand this and how do we get away this problem?
I think it's like what you're doing right now. Like you just talk to users, get their feedback on your product. And if they tell you they want something, like maybe they want more long-term predictions, then you build stuff around that and you try to build stuff as quickly as possible.
But the problem here is there are other players as well who's doing the similar services, what people are expected to do. And we are building something new, which people are not yet habituated to it. Our challenge is how to make how to make people to get habit to our product. Second thing is how to build up a compelling story within the UX. It's hiring an UX engineer, telling do this designs and all. I like how to convey the compelling story like a Matrix movie. You're just using this product and it's part of a daily life.
To mention, it's exactly what you're doing right now. You just talk to users, see what they're happy about your product and what they're not happy about it. And then whatever thing that they mention, build towards them to get like ideas about, okay, the user wants, I don't know, they want more predictions about their long-term future. Then you could study other products in the space and see how they address predictions about a user's like long-term future and take the best aspects of that and then try to build that as quickly as possible and then take it back to your users and get feedback and repeat that process literally like 50 times over the next 2 to 5 years. And eventually something will work. It takes just a lot of
Right.
iteration and like persistence. To give you some idea, like it took for the first business I did, like Deals Extra, it took maybe about a year and a half before we started making money. And it was only a few like $100 at the start. Contact Out took probably 2 years before we started making like some good money. So yeah, just try new things, like talk to users, study competitors, talk to industry experts, try a new idea with the users every week, build something every week, get feedback every week, and then just repeat that 100 times. And eventually something will work. Yeah, I don't really have a shortcut. That's just how it goes.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you for your suggestion. Thank you.
Cool. We ready to head over?
Yep, we are. All right. And everyone, I'll be putting you in breakout rooms now. So you'll be in groups of 8. If you need any help, drop back into the main room and I'll be there to help you. The goal for the breakout room is to discuss what your biggest challenges are, along with sharing what your learnings are through this week. Talk to each other, network, try and understand what businesses all of you are building towards and see how you can help each other out. Right? 4 general pointers that we give out to everyone. So provide equal time for everybody to speak. The more ideas you have, the more perspective you can build on your products. Communicate softly. Don't be too harsh with your opinions. Even successful people are wrong sometimes. So try to encourage people instead of breaking them down. Build on ideas. Try and brainstorm how things can work out. And finally, share your personal experiences instead of giving opinions, right? So that's all. The breakout room will run for 45 minutes and then I'll see you back here for a closing session. I'll open those rooms now and you should see a notification on your screen. Bhuvan, you should see it at the top of your screen. It's on the top right. For the rest of the people who are still in the main room, I'm going to assume that you're not there in the meeting anymore. Maybe give you 2 minutes to join into your breakout rooms. If you're still not in, then start removing people from the call.
Hello, Rishi.
Yes, what?
Mohit this side. Yeah. I have one question to ask. Like there was one task in which we have to connect to industry experts related to our domain and or other expanders. So I got introduced a person who is working in venture building and investment for last 14 years. He is an expert. He had done deals from $1.5 million to over $500 million and having a 14 years of experience. But my startup domain is different and he's into venture investment and all. If it's okay, I got an approval from inside.
That's a good question. So, like, speaking to a mentor would be separate from speaking to an investor. If the person who you've spoken to has similar experience in the industry or is supporting a business in the similar industry, their point of view might add value.
He's not an investor. He is in the startup ecosystem for last 14 years.
Anything related to your industry and
he had worked with multiple companies and few are them related to my sector as well.
Works not. And if he's an ex-person who's worked in a company in similar industry as yourself, you can learn whatever he's done in that industry.
Yeah. Maybe the question for you, Mohit, to ask is, what do you hope to learn from him? Like speaking from him, what do you hope to learn from him that could, help you in your journey?
That guy has a vast experience of 14 years regarding like he has worked with Indian government fund of Madhya Pradesh. He had worked with IIM directors and other biggest investment firms. Basically, his job is to evaluate the process and to guide the startup and some part of investment, including deals from $1 million to $500 million over the past 14 years. So the major factor which strikes me about his personality is the process, how he evaluates the startup. So I thought might be getting a valuation from him can work because he's an industry expert working for 14 years. I got him. So I just
Sure.
wanted to come that.
And is your hope that you want to raise funds in the future for your startup?
Yeah,
Get
obviously.
funded?
Yeah, later on, yes.
Cool. Yeah, because many like for Rob, it's no bootstrap all the way, because there is a beauty in that as well. So if it's to get funded, then yeah, ask him like in terms of his criteria, how did he evaluate startups? What is he looking out for? How did he does his valuation? How do he, yeah, so all the different questions that you have about funding, how to get investors, how to raise your first round. Those would be great.
Oh, I was just confirming that it will count in that.
Yeah, you will cut definitely. You will cut.
Oh. And the second question is, I have to complete all those tasks in a particular order, or I can go
No
like,
order.
because I have completed the case study of my computers, and I will draft the learning soon. And so I was doing everything one by one. Like I have already got 55 users on my platform and planning to reach them through WhatsApp DMs or email to get the real-time users feedback on what they felt about my app. So I was doing one by one everything. If I'm getting users, I talk to them. If I'm getting industry expert, there is no particular pattern to follow, right? That's it. That's all I wanted to ask. Thank you.
No,
And
that's
see,
not-
last question from you. I got validation from Kunal that day, so it will count as well, right?
validation for what?
My idea on which I'm working on.
Which is covering which? You are covering which task? Talking to
Kunal,
mentors? Talking to mentors?
Ideally, the mentor's task is to go and find your own mentors.
Yeah,
The one
not
you bring on should not count.
if I connect him through LinkedIn, because his space is completely related to mine. He's worked with D2C brands as well and is shopping.
the
Yeah,
goal is not to get the goal is not to get validation. The goal is to learn from the
Yeah,
mentor course. Yeah, and ideally at the core would be great because
Oh.
there's a lot more you can really learn. Yeah, so cool.
Yes.
Because there are many other places like Rob will
Sure.
have calls with ex VPs of head of sales or marketing or growth in particular areas you want to learn. Even like this few days is still doing it. Speaking to ex-employees and all. It never
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah, thank you. Right. He's I joined great. Thank you, Joseph.
Okay, okay.
For the rest of you on the main call, are you having difficulties with joining a breakout room? Seven, Deepak. Hey, hi guys, any difficulties in joining your breakout rooms?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not a lot of discussions happening, That's why I just joined.
Yeah, cool. I'll jump into the ones and see if I can initiate a conversation.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. वो वाला है. Do you want what वाला?
All right.
Hey Rishi, how are you doing?
Do you need help with joining a breakout room?
No, I don't. I have another meeting to attend to, so I can't attend the breakout room. But I do have one question about the program. If you get selected into the residency program and you become in the future, if you get selected into the as a portfolio company, do you get mentorship from Athena VC?
Yep. You still have access to it. You can ask questions and we try to answer them as much as possible. But yeah, you still have a channel to us.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but I was wondering if it's like it was separate from the public or it's the same basically.
It would be the same. So this is our community angle effect. Once we start picking people for the residency, they'll have a separate thing going on.
Ah, okay. So eventually be separate, yeah. Ah, okay. I think that's all my question. Okay, I'll drop off then. I have another meeting, but thanks very much, Rishi. Much appreciated.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Okay, guys. That's lunch.
Hey, Rishi. If I said your name right or if I said it wrong, I apologize.
Oh, that's fine. You pronounce it correct.
All right, good.
Did your breakout rooms end?
Yeah, mine, it said, connecting back to the main room. So I'm like, okay, I don't know why, but
Oh, that's weird. It says 4 minutes left.
yeah, we had a good conversation, all of us. We were,
Discuss about a lot of things from transportation to AI to internet connectivity.
That's pretty cool. Were you guys able to help each other with something that you guys are working on?
Oh, we discuss about many things to help each other. That would help a lot to me.
That's great.
It gave me many ideas for a better marketing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're trying to achieve out of these sessions.
yeah, like I told him, never give up.
I'll
Actually, one of the biggest thing that I've learned in marketing is if you really think about it is if you write the word impossible down on the paper and then take a pair of scissors and cut off the word IN, it becomes possible. So nothing is impossible. That's the biggest thing that I've always through my entire life. It's like, all right, just cover up that, write down the word impossible, cover up the IN, and it becomes possible. So don't give up. I just, that's my biggest thing that I do with my startup. Never, everything is possible. Nothing's impossible. So I read that in a book somewhere.
Put in enough time and efforts into doing something, and you might as well be able to achieve it.
Yeah. Yep.
So and there is one thing I like always think that even resume has 3% success rate.
Yep.
Even to get a job, you have 100 application and then you get 3 interview, get a one job.
You're very true. Yeah, that's a very true. Yeah. Many people laugh at me. I'm working on internet connectivity. Oh, you'll never succeed. You'll never connect anybody. Yep. I got 563 customers as of today. Yep. Thank you. In 4 different countries. Love it.
I just want to know how you are like. I am just starting out, so I built my product. It's almost ready. So I need to learn marketing and sales now. So
Yeah.
I'm like I was Dave. I was senior software engineer. Then I left my job. So I'm been building my product. So it is basically a SaaS chatbot that you can embed on your website, and you can bring your own open API key. So it's more cheaper than the current platform. So it has a script you can embed, and there is a contact form that is there. You can enable it and disable it, and there are more features. But
I'm going to stop you now. If you need help on marketing, check out the resources that we mentioned in the call today. Go over to
Yeah.
the start curriculum. Most of them are mentioned there. Go through them, see if you find value and it helps you out. Help us out a bunch, and hope it will do the same for you. All right. For everyone else, hope you had a good time with the focus session and were able to ideate over your challenges and share your learnings across. Quick notes. Next week, we're having a guest mentorship session. We have Chris Pauja coming in. He's the co-founder of Pyramidal, which is a YC-backed company from this year. It deals in neurotech. Chris is also an ex-Google, ex-Spotify employee. So what we hope is that people who are looking to get knowledge in the health spaces or get info on how things are done at Google, how things are done at Spotify, and how you could implement similar stuff to your startups. The next session's for all of you. And as for every week, quick highlights on the feedback form. If you enjoyed this meeting, if you have any feedback, if you would like to put in your opinions forward, your thoughts forward as to how we can improve with what we're providing and what we're trying to do, we share a feedback form with you guys. Feel free to fill it out. It's completely anonymous. We won't know who you are. We care about the feedback. So with that, I think that's most of today's session. If this is the first time you're attending, I've attached the guidebook in the messages. Check out the guidebook. Join our community, which is over Discord and WhatsApp, if you haven't already. And if you've done so, get started with the community tasks. That's mostly it from my side. Yep. So Joseph shared the feedback form in the chat. Have a look at it, fill it out. Let us know what your opinions and thoughts are about what we're trying to do. That's all for today's session, guys. Thank you so much. See you again next. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.